Police in Plano today talked about the bravery of that little girl on the street who survived being hit by a hit-and-run driver. Good evening, I'm Hannah Battah. Today, investigators spoke to Fox 4 about how they captured the suspect they say was behind the wheel and took off after hitting that young girl you just saw there. Joins us live now with more. Alex?
Hi, Hannah. And according to Plano police, the suspect had just dropped off a child at the same school the victim was walking to when she got hit. They also say that investigators say that cameras from the school, as well as a camera in the neighborhood where the incident happened, helped them to identify that hit-and-run driver. It was an incident caught on camera that sparked public outrage. A 12-year-old girl walking to school on December 10th was struck by the driver of a black Buick Enclave who backed up and simply drove off.
We have a strong appetite for immediate justice, and so did I as I watched that video and I heard that young lady scream.
On Thursday, Plano police arrested 49-year-old Zulma Beltran from Richardson for the crime. Officer Andre Smith says investigators developed Beltran as a suspect about a week after the incident.
When we posted this on social media, our community, they showed up and they showed out.
Immediately after getting hit, the little girl made her way to Wilson Middle School, where she reported the encounter to a school resource officer who got her medical attention. A neighbor also provided detectives with the surveillance video that captured the hit and run in the neighborhood off West Ridge Drive.
The investigators from the traffic unit, using technology that we have afforded to us, and thankfully, we had a school resource officer who had the right of mind to check their cameras to see if there were any cars that fit that description showing up at the school to drop off children.
As it turned out, Beltran had just come from dropping a child off at the school.
And she was in the right every step of the way from the moment she left home for school, entered the crosswalk, got hit by an individual who didn't care about her well-being.
Despite being thrown several feet, thankfully the girl only suffered minor physical injuries.
Leaving that child there at the scene, unknown to them if this child is seriously injured or injured at all.
And Beltran is charged with a felony count of failure to stop and render aid with injury. I'm told that if she's convicted of that charge, she faces up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. Hannah. Oklahoma City police arrested a 35-year-old man wanted for kidnapping and robbery in Haltom City. Good evening, I'm Alex Boyer. Haltom City police say the suspect kidnapped a 22-year-old woman at gunpoint on Christmas Eve. He made her withdraw $400 from an ATM, then drove around for an hour before tying her to a tree in Grapevine and driving off in her car. On Christmas Day, Oklahoma City police officers say the armed suspect was found sleeping in the stolen car. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke with police and joins us now with more. Amelia.
Alex, Haltom City police say the suspect admitted to the crimes and told detectives he just needed money. Police say the suspect has committed similar crimes before across the country. This time, they hope he's locked up for a significant period of time. On Christmas Eve morning, a 22-year-old woman was leaving for work at the Acacia Apartments. Haltom City police say she was approached by an armed man in a mask who forced her in the back seat of her car and made her withdraw money from an ATM. The suspect then drove her car to Grapevine and left the victim near the Camden Apartments on Grapevine Mills Parkway, then took off in her car.
Obviously, she was terrified. No one expects this kind of thing walking outside early in the morning on Christmas Eve.
The victim was able to get help and call police. She gave officers a description of her car and the armed assailant. Haltom City police shared the information in a national database. Less than 24 hours later, on Christmas Day, there was a hit in Oklahoma City.
One of the Oklahoma City Police Department officers found him sleeping in the same car in a parking lot.
Oklahoma City police arrested the driver, identified as 35-year-old Eduardo Javier Ordonez Godoy. Godoy is originally from Honduras. Police say he claimed to be affiliated with a gang there. He confessed to the crimes, saying he just needed money. But what stuck out to the detectives was his behavior during the interview.
He smirked a lot. He giggled and, was almost proud of what he did.
According to an arrest warrant affidavit obtained by Fox 4, Godoy drove around with the victim for an hour and threatened to, quote, sell her organs or, quote, prostitute her. She told police, quote, all the things he was saying made her fear for her life. The documents go on to say when Godoy left the victim in Grapevine, he used her shoelace to tie her hands around a tree.
Just to give him enough time before she got to call 911.
Police say Godoy has committed similar crimes before and has even been arrested and deported back to Honduras. It's unclear how he got back into the U.S.
He claims that he's just a thief. He just wants money. But, in this case, clearly he went beyond that and brought a firearm into it.
Godoy is currently being held at the Oklahoma City jail. He's facing multiple felonies and misdemeanor charges in Oklahoma, in addition to the charges of aggravated kidnapping and aggravated robbery out of Haltom City. He also currently has an ICE detainer because of his immigration status.
Fort Worth police say a group of thieves rammed a stolen vehicle into a smoke shop, stole merchandise, and took off. The stolen car then caught fire. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is in with the surveillance from the crime scene. Peyton.
Steve, the owner of the smoke shop, says early Christmas morning he got a notification from his store's alarm system, and then he felt helpless watching all of this unfold on the security cameras. Here, take a look.
Early Christmas morning, a car crashed through the storefront of Fort Worth's modern smoke shop off South Hewlin. 3 people in hoods exit the vehicle, and one decides to take off. Once inside, the thieves climbed over the mangled gate into the business and stole thousands of dollars worth of vapes, according to the shop's owner. Less than 10 minutes later, Fort Worth Fire arrived on scene because the crashed-out vehicle caught on fire. Then the fire spread to the building. The shop's owner rushed to his business and took these photos of the burned vehicle. Fort Worth police say that vehicle was stolen.
The officers during the investigation were able to find out was they were able to track the vehicle to its registered owner, and that person advised that no one had permission to use the vehicle, and it appears that the vehicle was stolen.
By Christmas afternoon, the business had the front door boarded up. Remnants of the fire can be seen on the sidewalk. As for the damage left behind,
it's pretty extensive because of the fire was not only to the vehicle, it also started to spread to the building. So FD made the location. Fortunately, they were able to put out the fire, and the investigation continued.
And due to that damage, the shop will remain closed for a few days. Again, no suspects are in custody, so Fort Worth police, they're asking if you know anything or recognize the suspects, please contact them. Steve?
All right, Peyton, thanks. We'll see you at
Tips from Fox 4 viewers helped police catch a career criminal they say robbed multiple convenience stores all across North Texas. Police say he was in fact becoming increasingly violent before he was caught. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager in now with more from police about the arrest. Peyton.
Heather, shortly after our story aired last week, Fort Worth police say they received multiple credible tips from the public. Plus, Tarrant County investigators recognize the suspect as a person they've arrested many times.
45-year-old Roderick Dennis spent this holiday week in the Tarrant County Jail charged with 5 counts of robbery. Investigators say Dennis is the man in these videos who committed 5 robberies at corner stores across the city of Fort Worth in less than 2 months. The first 4 robberies, Fort Worth police say he would use a distraction and then hold the clerk at knife point. Most recently, on December 16th, a food mart off Mansfield Highway was hit. The owner told Fox 4 Dennis held his clerk at gunpoint and got away with $2 grand in cash and lottery scratch-off tickets. Fox 4 aired the surveillance video the next day. Within hours, Fort Worth police say multiple credible tips came into the department, all pointing to Dennis.
With you guys' help, with what y'all released, we're able to find a serial robber who was apprehended for 5 cases. That again, he hopefully won't be doing any of that anymore anytime soon.
Dennis has a long criminal history in Tarrant County, charged with burglary, robbery, and multiple drug charges. Tarrant County records sent over more than 20 mugshots of Dennis from previous arrests. Court records show Dennis violated his bond from 2 robbery warrants from April. Investigators say in November, as he was committing the food store robberies, he failed to provide a urine sample for his bond conditions. Therefore, a warrant was then issued for his arrest.
Thank you to the public. Thank you guys for sharing that information. Because of you guys, that's how we're able to help. It takes that community unity to actually apprehend this person. So this was a great day.
Fort Worth police tell me Dennis was taken into custody without incident. He remains in the Tarrant County Jail this evening, charged with 5 counts of robbery. His bond is at more than $300,000. Heather?
Rowlett police say a woman they arrested last night escaped custody in a Rowlett neighborhood. She was barefoot, in pajamas, and handcuffed. They found her at a relative's home, still wearing the handcuffs. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager in studio now with video footage of that escape. Peyton.
Heather, this woman managed to get away from Rowlett police for nearly 6 hours. A Rowlett man who was working from home got the alert on his surveillance cameras. That woman was hiding in his alley.
A woman handcuffed, barefoot, and wearing Christmas pajamas was hiding from Rowlett police late Thursday. However, she was spotted by Floyd Smith's Ring camera.
Call 911 and they just kind of, yeah, we're looking for her. Where is she? And I said, well, she just left my alley or my driveway. And I said, okay, we'll send somebody. And you could hear all the sirens and hear the drones.
The woman, now identified as 22-year-old Quenisha Mason. Investigators say Mason caused an hours-long search in a neighborhood near Rowlett Road and Hickox Road. Police tell Fox 4 it all started when Mason was put in cuffs Thursday afternoon for failing to provide identification. Ring video from a home off Bluebonnet Drive shows multiple Rowlett police officers talking in a front yard. Then if you zoom in on the left-hand side, you can see Mason make a run for it, out from behind a police cruiser and then in between 2 homes. The officers then notice she's gone and immediately call in for backup.
We're curious where she was headed. That's what we want to know because, barefoot and cold. I still think she had to be hiding somewhere in the neighborhood.
By 8 p.m., Rowlett police stopped their search. Just before midnight, the department posted on social media Mason was in custody. She was booked into the Rowlett City Jail before being transferred to the Dallas County Jail on a charge of escape from custody.
It's not too often you have a barefoot lady in handcuffs come through the house.
And Mason remains in the Dallas County Jail this evening, and Dallas County investigators confirmed to Fox 4 she's been previously arrested in 2021, but it's still unclear, Heather, at this time what that charge was for.
A 17-year-old was shot and killed in the middle of the afternoon in a Fort Worth neighborhood today. 2 others were shot and taken to a hospital. Police say the shooting happened during an attempted armed robbery. A suspect has not been arrested. Fox 4's David Centendry is at Fort Worth Police Headquarters with what we know so far. David?
Yeah, Steve, and while police have not said exactly what that robbery was all about and no arrests have been made at this time, they still say they are interviewing everyone involved.
I mean, it's just like a really sad event, especially on Christmas Eve.
3 people shot in Fort Worth's West Fork Ranch neighborhood on Christmas Eve. One of them, 17-year-old Jaqueline Houston, died. The shooting happened just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon in front of Amanda Fisher's family's home while they were eating dinner.
And then I heard 3 bangs.
She rushed outside and saw someone at the nearby West Fork Ranch Park who caught her attention.
And we didn't see anything, but we did see one person run across the park.
Detectives believe the shooting stemmed from an attempted robbery in which both victims and suspects were shot. Police have not said what it was about, but the department says it's interviewing everyone involved. The shooting happened on Berenda Drive, but the 17-year-old's body was found a few blocks away. It's unclear how he got there, if he ran, was dropped off, or something else.
We weren't exactly sure what happened.
Fisher says it's common to see kids hanging at the neighborhood park.
I mean, you see teenagers at the park and, you just think they're just being teenagers, just messing around.
Fisher's parents cannot help but think of the parents and families of the teen who was killed and the others injured.
I mean, it's tragedy any other day, but especially around the holidays.
It'll affect everybody and their family forever.
And we are still working to learn more about those 2 victims who were shot and taken to hospitals. Police have not released their conditions at this time. Steve, back to you.
All right, David, thank you.
McKinney police say they're still looking for leads to find a hit-and-run driver who struck and killed a 14-year-old boy over the weekend. Jameer Dabney was riding his bike when the driver struck him. His heartbroken family is asking for the driver to fess up and come forward. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is live in McKinney with the update. Amelia.
Peyton, 14-year-old Jameer Dabney's absence is already felt by his family. They told us today the house is so quiet without him. They're devastated by his death, especially this close to Christmas. All they want is for the person who did this to come forward and own up to their actions. Memories spread out on a table.
The only moments that I want to remember is the good ones.
Of a life gone too soon.
He was such a light-hearted kid, such an energetic kid, just a bright kid.
On Saturday evening, Jeremiah Dabney was at work when his sister told him that their 14-year-old brother, Jameer Dabney, was hit by a car while riding his bike.
I told her to stop playing. And she said it again and again and again and again, and I knew she was serious. I knew something had happened.
Jameer Dabney died at the hospital. McKinney police say the driver who hit him at the intersection of Lake Forest Drive and Highlands Drive drove off. They're following up on multiple leads, but so far, no arrests have been made.
He has so much life to live. He has so many things to do. He has so many goals to reach, and to get cut short in that manner, it's not good. It's not okay.
Tamara Size is one of Jamar Dabney's aunts. She says his mom is struggling to process what happened to her son.
Because in all honesty, when you get ready to have the services and you bury your child and you still don't have that closure, that's hard.
The Dabney family moved to McKinney from New Orleans in February. All weekend, people added to a growing memorial at the intersection where the crash happened. It gives the family comfort knowing how many lives he touched in a short amount of time.
That really helps us maneuver and move through the situation because this was really unexpected. Nobody expected this to happen.
And while Jeremiah Dabney is trying to remain strong for his family, the pain is hard to bear.
This isn't something anybody should have to carry on their heart. I shouldn't have to wear my brother's face on a t-shirt, a chain. I shouldn't have to get my brother tattooed or anything like that because he deserved to live out the rest of his life.
McKinney police described the suspect vehicle as a dark-colored four-door sedan that may have front-end damage and possible damage to the front passenger mirror. All the family wants is for the person who did this to do the right thing.
Come forward. Reveal yourself. Stop being a coward.
If that person is watching, Jeremiah Dabney has this message.
So from the bottom of my heart, if you have a heart, please, and I'm begging, please come forward so my family can get some type of closure. Please.
McKinney police told us they're still analyzing evidence from the crash scene on Saturday and taking a look at surveillance footage from the area. There's an online fundraiser that's raised more than $56,000 so far. If you have any information about this incident, you're asked to contact McKinney police. Peyton, back to you.